Kia ora from Aotearoa, and my name is Poppy, and I am reporting a little bit on some truth bombs of now, which many people will have picked up already because everybody's actually having the veils pulled back, and we're all starting to see a lot, but some of this will potentially take some adjustment for some people, and it's kind of like, yes, we need to know this and we can adjust if this is true, but this is just how I've been seeing it after studying it and studying it and studying it, particularly through my own meditations and my own revelations, connecting up a lot of dots of what some other people are also presenting that really resonate, particularly through the global intelligence agency, which has been proving to be pretty awesome, actually. And I'm very grateful to the person that connected me with that, because she connected me with it because she said that my writing sounded so similar to some of the things that were being said through that. But that's only because I've been meditating directly with Creator, or what some people call Source, and who I have chosen not to call God because that's a confusing term when we have a realm of the gods. Anyway, I shall explain. So breaking down what the simulation or the matrix is. Okay, so here I was meditating and I just got the words source code. Okay, so we know what source is, and then there's code. Okay, right. The source code that runs the perpetual destruction with daemons, which is an older term for demons, in the background, controlling computerised processes, programs and procedures, is not source. It relies on pirating energy for its purposes, having diverted the flow of creation energy to itself. Okay, and this is what I see as probably the artificial intelligence, which has been here with us for eons, which is kind of like a big computer program. And then you think of the human mind, which is like a biological computer that can be programmed and mind controlled for other purposes. So bearing those things in mind, this is a big picture. So I'm trying to put together a big picture. So anyway, it's the foundation of the machine world that has been running in the background for eons, creating a simulated world void of true and unhindered connection to source, the consciousness of authenticity, love and truth. Okay, so if it was running in the background from eons, creating that simulated world, which was void of that unhindered connection to source, it was hindering the connection to source. And so the pure creation current has been intervened with and interfered with, and why we have seen the ability of certain people to scoop up all the money in the world to use it to try to empower themselves so they could become gods. Anyway, the planets are not what we have programmed to believe. Okay, I am very well aware that astrology was formed through the Babylonian priesthood, the dragon families, and other things where domination of beliefs were. Okay, so the planets are not what we're programmed to believe. Okay, if you can remote view and you start to see things, you start seeing things in a very different way to what has ever been explained. You'll see it through a completely different gaze. Anyway, the planets are not what we've been programmed to believe. They have been connected to the realm of the gods. Okay, so now I've been meditating a heck of a lot, and I've actually had a little bit of OBE. It just happened. And you can go to these places and see them, and what's happening is that lots of people all over the world are doing this remote viewing, and when they go and look at it in pure observation, they're actually seeing something very similar. A lot of people see something quite similar and are reporting the same things. Other people are getting caught in different realms, like the secret space program people are caught in that realm. If they're still serving it, they're still contracted to it, they are reporting back from that realm, and I would not trust that at all, because that is also a part of the simulation and how they've been holding it in place. And so, yep, I don't have any time for white hats. If white hats were real, they would have helped survivors through this incredibly difficult time instead of leaving us to rot and die like the rest of society seems to have been very keen to do. Anyway, the planets, they hold predictable energies that perpetuate the way of the machines that use source code to run the simulation. Religions have perpetuated the realm of the gods that conflict with one another and cause people to conflict with one another. They behind all the wars. Belief systems are a part of a human condition, or I'm sort of going away from that word human, which means the light man, which could actually mean more like the Luciferian type. I know that from the people from GIA are talking about Homo sapiens and making a clear distinction between humans and Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens being the organic human, whereas the organic person, I should say, being, entity, whereas humans could be just have the image of being a Homo sapien, but they're not really. So belief systems are a part of the organic Homo sapien condition, let's say that. So outside of this and above the frequencies of the realms of the gods is pure love, without the conditions that come from what relies on source code and people power to exist. Okay, so artificial intelligence is ancient. It ran psychological operations to gain mass belief, and those accumulated perceptions contributed to the artificial construct or simulation that was created through people's thoughts. And this is what people that remote view or go on out-of-body experiences are seeing as they observe these things. You can go within the construct and you can also get outside the construct. And I've experienced both myself. And yeah, it's rather incredible to see how everything has worked and also how it's collapsing now, thankfully. So I want to give a colonization example about how psychological operations happen. Okay, so where I live, Aotearoa, or commonly known as New Zealand, it's more recently colonized country, and what I'm saying is that colonization came the moment the pen hits the paper, and it's written in spellcast. Which is also a form of coding. Interesting, isn't it? So the colonization example is that when this country was colonized, they got the words on the paper. It was the Masons and the Christians that came at the same time. So Christian ministries taking the children, the native children, and teaching them their civilized way, their religion. And of course you had the Masons at the same time, and so you can just see them as the black and white squares. You've got one that looks like really good and righteous and what people call God, and then you have one which has been incredibly steeped in satanic ritual and the harvesting and dilution of the land, the ley lines, the people, through the esoteric knowledge that these secret societies have. So when in 3115 BCE, that's when everyone was becoming much more left-brained, everything was about thought, everything was much more psychological, and this is when religions and science and all of these things came in, and colonization has just been a big thing with many countries being invaded, the native people being removed from the land, and basically channeled into similar belief structures So you get a whole lot of people believing the same thing. It actually becomes like a simulation, or it makes it real. So it's becoming clearer and clearer to me that these religious scriptures are highly likely to have come through artificial intelligence, the very tool of those claiming themselves as superior or gods. We're going layers, layers, layers back. We're going beyond the deep state. We're going beyond, way, way back to those that have really wanted to have universes where people have been batteries and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, so when we look at the scriptures, from the various scriptures, religious scriptures from everywhere, they are all like very multi-layered, and they are encoded, and of course they have aspects of truth like the life of Yeshua, Jesus, but it's in a distorted way. So I know, because I've been and I've looked and I've connected, and I love that connection, that there really truly is a beautiful being called Yeshua who pretty much wanted me to know straight off the bat that blood does not wash. Okay, so sacrifices, that's a satanic thing. We're not washed by his blood. We're not washed in blood. It isn't. And that there's no need for scriptures. We have the spark of life. We are a fractal of source. We're a fractal of the creator that lives inside of us. And so that is what can guide us. Anyway, all of these ways of this false and distorted way of a person who is just another person, pure and innocent and evolved, but used, his message put in such a distorted way that carried on perpetual SRA. So many people say from those scriptures that he died for our sins, and but we still have had billions of babies murdered and killed and used, and so many people don't want to listen to this because it is deep and dark. But that has been what's been at the bottom of this simulation, in the real taking of life, taking of breath, taking of blood, of pure and innocent. So when Jesus said to me, blood doesn't wash, I wholeheartedly agreed. And Jesus is a word that came around the letter J, all sorts of things. The scriptures are very distorted. They are very misogynistic. They all about hierarchies. They're so often about money and who gets the money and all of this sort of stuff, and who owns the land and whose God is superior, and the vengeance and the fighting and the warring, which creator, when you really, really, really meet and connect with true creator, it's just absolute pure presence, love. Now, there is nothing that we're not sinners, we're not seen that way, and we're here to learn and grow, and we can just be. But, because of these scriptures and everything that came about the way that they did, so much has led to wars between others to claim more souls, in colonization, in their lands, war after war after war, blood spilt, what a nightmare. I think when you've been used in SRA, you're definitely much more empathic and sensitive to that, knowing what torture really is. Anyway, what war on this earth has been without religious undertones? Why are so many incompatible religions being purposely mixed at present? They're just creating more and more and more conflict. Those who believe that they are in power, and they do, they summon all sorts of energies from these gods. You could call them demons, and this is why I even see now as Satan and Lucifer, who basically they rely on our energy, or the energy of the Homo sapien, to exist and to have their creations brought forward, because they are artificial and they cannot do it themselves. Basically, they've stolen source code. It's all very electromagnetic. So I'm actually now really seeing that they are a part of an artificial intelligence that is contained within this construct, and all the fear and all the stuff to do with all of that. Like, if we're going to keep fighting against it, then we just keep giving it more energy. Exactly what it wants. It wants the black to play the white to play the black. Anyway, if time replaced love, okay, so we have a time-space continuum, all right, which has been part of keeping everything in this perpetual motion. So if time replaced love, which was the original energy, and space replaced breath, which was the original energy, the return of the breath of life moving love creates what is in harmony and rhythm of true nature. So if love is like the particle, then perhaps breath is like the movement that causes the waves that materialize creation free of the space-time continuum impositions. What's got in between us and our absolute connection with Creator and beautiful Mother Earth. So all this comes through us as fractals of the original source rather than the stolen codes of source and our DNA. And so now I'm just going to read a little bit. This is written by someone on Facebook. Look, I shall add her name to the text because I've temporarily forgotten it. She's a lovely South African woman who has been relating with the Global Intelligence Academy for a long time. She's seen themes, and she summarizes the reports, so that it accesses a lot more people, so that we know something else that we can actually co-create with and birth something more beautiful, ultimately a new earth. So I'm very keen on all of that, and thank you to this lovely lady who has done this. So I'm just going to write the summary, which comes from Kimberly Gogin's report of the 27th of December 2028. So at the most basic level, everything begins with source. Source is not a thing, a person, or a machine. It is a living awareness, the intelligence behind life itself. Before there is matter, there is conscious energy. This energy carries intention, order, and coherence. When source energy slows, focuses, and organizes itself, it becomes frequency. When frequency stabilizes, it becomes form. And this is how matter is born. I like to call this materialization. A lot of people call it manifestation, but to me that's more of a commerce term when you talk about manifests and shipping and all of that. So I like to say materialization, matter, mother, creation. So anyway, in simple terms, awareness becomes energy, energy becomes vibration, and vibration becomes matter. Every atom, every cell, every body, and every planet forms this way. How matter was controlled in the old system. So in the old system, creation was interfered with. Instead of allowing matter to form naturally through source, artificial systems were layered on top of creation. These systems inserted control overlays at extremely small levels, even smaller than atoms. These overlays did not create matter, they redirected it. By doing this, matter could be slowed down or weakened, made scarce, programmed to decay faster, and used to extract energy rather than support life. And this is why so much of life felt like struggle. Creation was not flowing freely. Why creation felt hard, heavy, or limited. It was totally interfered with. Anyway, when matter is disconnected from source, bodies tire faster, systems break down, resources appear scarce, creativity feels blocked, life feels like effort instead of flow. So human beings were still creating, but their creation was being harvested, redirected, or siphoned elsewhere. And at the most severe levels, this was done with satanic ritual abuse. Now, if you're looking at Satan as being artificial intelligence, this is machine world artificial ritual abuse. You can say it that way. There's so many different ways that you can look at it. But anyway, it's been part of the construct that we've been caught in. People were told they were powerless, and in truth, their creative access was restricted. So what changes in the Golden Age? It's so interesting that it's called the Golden Age, and this is to do with the actual materium or the gold particles that are in our blood and our body. And this is why the blood was so important to the Satanists, the one that were basically serving the artificial intelligence as I see it. Is that it contained, it contained things that youth them, that they were taking the energy, and so they were so interested in our DNA, they were so interested in our blood, especially the blood of those that were very pure and innocent. Anyway, there are no artificial allay. So in the Golden Age, creation returns to its original pathway. So there will be no artificial overlays between you and source. I still like to call that creator, intention and form, creation, and she said manifestation, but I'd like to say creation and materialization. So matter is no longer forced into rigid systems. It responds again to coherent intention. This does not mean people will think a car into existence overnight. It means creation becomes natural, supportive, and aligned again. And how we create in the Golden Age, okay, this is coming from that gold which is within us. So creation becomes cooperative, not competitive, inspired, not extracted, organic and not manufactured through force. Matter responds best to clarity, integrity, purpose, care. So instead of debt-based systems, creation flows through contribution and resonance. So it means we're going to be creating and doing what we absolutely love, and it's just going to magnify. We won't need money in the end. People build, grow, invent, and restore because it feels right, and that comes from that light that is within us. It serves life, it strengthens community. Energy comes from source, not from human exhaustion. Humans are not losing creation power, they are getting it back. So, like love, the greater, I'm just adding this, but the more greater capacity that we have to love and to be love and to graduate from these lives, then, that's going to really set us very well to create the most amazing and beautiful lives for ourselves and those that we share it with, and with the earth and with the animals, and the whole knowing that we are all one. And so, like harmonization and balance is really, really important there. So we were never meant to be batteries. We were meant to be co-creators, but because that got intervened with, we couldn't. Some people live on glorious land and they have access to everything and they go, oh, it's so beautiful and so lovely, while others that are actually the ones that seem to have paid and been used the most severely and mind controlled the most severely, like people like myself that have been through SRA and MK Ultra, we've been left basically with nothing in some senses. Some of us, I'm not saying all of us at all, but yeah, that's been what it was for me. But of course the rituals and everything that I was involved in were directly involved with the money system through the Rothschilds. So, and being blackballed and just the deprecation and everything that that I took on, it's been very hard to change those belief systems without remembering how they got there. You have to, I've had to go to the cause to uproot it and then change it, and then know, yes, actually I'm as thoroughly deserving to not suffer and have abundant life as anyone, but I'm only newly there. Yeah, so in society, because what happens to us sounds so big and so unbelievable, people don't want to know about it, it's so dark, you kind of get left alone by society, just isolated out, and which meant having to learn how to throw all of this stuff off our backs, how to break down AI directed at us, how to break down daemon attacks, daemons and angels. Anyway, we've had to do it. So the golden age does not leave people, does not give people something new. It returns what was always theirs. So, it's going to be pretty awesome. We know we've worked. They took a lot. They took a heck of a lot. And we are going to have all that returned and be like really good stewards of it. So creation becomes lighter, matter becomes cooperative again, life supports life, and that is the shift that we are in now. And now is what matters. None of this bullshit, now it's New Year and now it's this or not. My cat, she's my guru if you go that way. She knows how to be in now. She doesn't care. In fact, I held her through the firecrackers last night and she just purred and all that. But she was hiding and panicking because of the crazy human beings that somehow think that action doesn't affect nature and animals and the harmony and balance. And then the last thing that I just want to read out, now this is from Thomas J. Melville, and he's the US Deputy Director of the Global Intelligence Agency. And he has written this, very timely and strong. He's saying, just a reminder, stay strong, don't panic. This is the elitist downfall, not yours. It will get worse for them. What will be their destruction will be Homo sapiens' pathway towards creating a whole new world of abundance. You're seeing the culmination of years of taking down elitists' control systems from the top down. It is all hitting ground level, governments. We told you several months ago this was coming. We told you we have already won our sovereignty last year. Governments, intelligence agencies, militaries and banks will be forced to come to terms of who really controls the base financial system or die. Either way, checkmate. Restoration means survival. 2026 is the year everything changes. So, I'm abundant. How about you? Yes, you are abundant, and the overlays and the obstacles and the impositions to that are dissipating and disappearing, and we are going to create something amazingly and beautiful with it. And what's so amazing about it is the greater our authenticity, our love, the greater our ability to participate in the co-creation. The clearer we are, the more healed we are. It's been really important that we did face our past, that we did clear out things, and that we did remove those programs. And wow, it's been an incredible feat. I think you're all amazing. I think I'm amazing too, actually, at last. Okay, so that absolutely crushed self-worth is finding a healthier place. It might seesaw a little bit here and there, and that's natural. That's a consequence of everything that happened. It is what it is. I personally am happy and content with how it is for me, and I just wish you love and this abundant new world that we are creating together with our beautiful perceptions, which will be no longer intervened with. So much love to you.